away and go hide in the loft.
I'm here to collect Mr. Hawthorne's rent! Shut that squealing! Before I get you jumping squeal now! Christ almighty!
Johnny Fletcher busted into a farmhouse on his property.
You bring me back that stuff to false.
Well, look at what we have here.
Please don't kill me.
Gentleman John Fletcher! Damn it!
Johnny Fletcher! Don't make me chase you!
I didn't kill nobody. I didn't murder that family.
That don't break me down as me. You're a bounty hunter. You're a wanted man. Here.
Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds, and shall find me, unafraid. It matters not how straight the gates, how charged the punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Stand down and no one has to die today.
This only ends one way.
They'll kill you all.
Why not take your chances in a prison cell?
Alright, I'm coming out.
My lord, I have a report.
Speak.
Our latest assassination attempt on Lady Nocturne has failed.
I can see stronger measures are needed. Begin phase 2.
Captured! The notorious Lady Nocturne has been brought in through the valiant efforts of the Void Cobras.
Get on the jail,
Prisoner, take 5 steps, then stop and turn your right.
But the pirates of Velix Mortis are far from defeated.
My lord, I have a report.
Let's cut to the chase, since we both know that this isn't a social call and you didn't come here to waste time.
Fine. High Command is gambling that the attempt on your life by your so-called friends has made you willing to cooperate. Am I wasting my time now?
What fate will befall the disgraced former pirate?
The Minotaur sends his regards, traitor.
What does your High Command want, and what are they offering in return?
High Command wants many things, but it wants a show of good faith first.
Team 1, move up. Fire Team 2, covering fire.
Bravo Team 1, push up. Bravo 2, give us support.
What next for now infamous mercenaries, the Void Cobras?
I want every last pirate I used to run with dead. I don't want to be watching over my shoulder every hour of every day.
Now you die!
Will the Void Cobras become targets of Lady Nocturne's former pirate comrades?
Attention, crash override. This is Freighter Ebony Hawk. My ship just lost all power and thrust. We're going down. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
There truly is no honor among thieves. You rabble will turn on each other at the slightest provocation.
Okay, fine. Moving past you.
Find out on the next episode of Star Citizen Nocturne.
Jameson, you copy?
Touch me now, I don't want to live without you. Nothing's gonna change my love for you.
Jameson, we require immediate emergency extract.
I don't know, man. It looks kind of hot over there.
Of interest in my life today, it's...
Okay, got it working, Sarge.
Alright, Corporal. Good work. Follow me! Y'all remember what Sarge said? Stay together, keep comms clear, and heads on the swivel. Clear. Okay, we're gonna secure it, then sweep the entire ship for survivors. Channel, you take point. Doc, you're behind me. Corporal, you're bringing up the rear.
Understood, Sergeant.
Taking flash. I just saw something. Oh my god, oh my god!
Get the hell out of here!
Get him off me, get him off me, get him off me! They're getting in my armor! Ah!
I got into collecting bounties when a gang of bandits bushwhacked my wife, my best friend Coyote, and me. Meet the Jones brothers.
To take a look at the situation in which you find yourself.
That's Joshua.
Can have real bad.
What's the Indian word for
Next to him is Rufus the Doofus.
Like, I don't know.
You're just trying to make me look dumb. All right, I want to
Next
see
to
right
him is
on the
Lyman.
ground.
Remember those faces.
And 6.
You'll see him again.
8 hands praising Jesus.
The other ones, well, ain't no use in introducing. They're all dead.
Run!
Obadiah, get the saddlebags!
I got him!
I later discovered the Jones brothers were all wanted men. I figured I might as well get paid for taking my revenge.
Man, we still want it for justice.
Post is still on the wall?
So I hunted down the ones we didn't kill. Lyman, he sang like a bird. Rufus and Joshua were smuggling contraband down the river. Always to the same spot. I found a nice perch on a bluff above the river where I knew they would eventually be. During the war, I was a sharpshooter. Coyote's Whitworth came in handy. For weeks, I tracked them. Then I killed them.
If you like our content, we'd appreciate if you'd like, subscribe, and get notifications. Help us extend our reach by sharing our video content. And if you want to help us beat the algorithm, also leave us a comment on some of our videos. What in the motherfucker is up, fam of liberty? Am I muted this time? Okay, no, I'm not.
We got a hilariously managed it two nights in a row, though.
Okay. That would be par for the course. All right. Second live stream of the week. It's first for us. I've got admins Matt and Elo and Drill Sergeant Admin Doug, and we are joined by U.S. Navy Commander retired Bobby Jones of. Are you with Valor and Meidas, or?
It's funny. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you. Yeah. So I am with Valor. Every now and then they let me show up on Meidas, but most importantly, I'm president of Veterans for Responsible Leadership. That was started back in 2018 as an online Facebook group that my classmate from the Naval Academy and former Navy SEAL Dan Barkoff started. And so I'm in charge of that now. So yeah, man, it's this has been one hell of a ride. I thought retirement was supposed to be cool. At least that's what everybody told me. But damn, man, if I'm not fighting more now, sitting down and dealing with stuff overseas, I mean, what kind of bullshit is this? But anyway, I digress. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thanks for being here. Do you know if Ken's going to be here or?
I don't know. I don't think so. He was like, he's like, be prepared for an experience like none other that you've ever had before. So I'm looking very much forward to that.
He's been tipped off.
I mean, I got the cake back here with a couple of strippers inside of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one way to. I'm from Atlanta, so that's like the fifth food group.
It is.
What part of Atlanta are you in?
I was born in East Point, but then raised in Fayetteville, so about 10 minutes south of the airport.
Yeah, I'm familiar with East Point. I used to live up that way.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Doug, you're in that vicinity, aren't you?
I'm close right now. Yep.
Oh yeah, where are you at?
Very close to. Without saying too much, but I'm on the east side.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So right here, we frequent things like strokers.
I can either claim or deny such.
I can neither confirm nor deny that strokers exist somewhere in the vicinity. So yes, indeed.
All right.
I'll start with my introduction. Drill Sergeant Admin Doug here. The newest admin on the team, but also the founder of Political Drain Channel, where we try to also expose the liars and the charlatans that love to fill the sewage of today's media with some, and so we try to give it some truth and context. And so glad to be a part of this here as well, where we have a bunch of veterans that that want to do good. So that's my introduction in a nutshell. Glad to meet you, sir.
No, thank you. Pleasure.
I'm Admin Matt. I've been helping Tim for years with this. Happy to be his cohort in the various shenanigans. And unapologetic Eagles fan. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Unfortunate.
It's basically an extension of the Georgia Bulldogs, if we're being honest.
I was about to say, everybody down here was rooting for you guys, watching our dogs go up and do those things.
Credit where credit's due. I just take that defense, put that on there. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it.
Yep. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm admin Elo, and I'm by trade I'm an academic librarian, so I tend to do a lot of research and some writing to help with the effort to get information out, correct, proper information to people, so that they'll be able to make informed decisions.
So you're the antibody to this virus of stupidity that has swept us up for about a decade.
I am trying.
Damn, we need more of you, man. We need more of you ASAP.
We're working on it.
Good Lord. Thank you for the efforts. Sometimes I feel like you're spitting in the wind sometimes, but we appreciate it.
Thanks.
So you run with you said his name is that right?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Your colleague, is his name Dan?
Dan. So Dan Barkoff. So I guess I should give y'all a little bit of background here on me. First of all, I just want to say once again, thanks for having me on. And Tim, man, I watched y'all's intro to this channel. My gosh, I mean, if it doesn't get your attention, what you guys are talking about from day one, man, I don't know what to tell you. But no, so Dan and I, we met at the Naval Academy. So the ultimate fork and knife school, as far as along with West Point and Air Force and those places. And Dan was different. I played football. I turned down a bunch of football offers to pursue my appointment to go serve. My dad played for the Falcons in the 70s. So I was born into this misery. I had no choice. And, I went there. I came from the best school in the state of Georgia, graduated from there, elite private school in Buckhead, the rich section. And, despite all of that academic prowess, graduated dead last in my class. I'm the class anchor for 2001. Academically, order of merit. I sucked my first 2 years there and had to dig myself out. Well, at 109 days after we graduated, 9/11 happened, right? And so what people don't understand, and you guys are probably, if y'all are vets, y'all served at some point in the global war on terrorism. That was our entire career. So the thing started when I was in 01, and when I'm getting ready to retire in command, 05 command, the war is over. So the entire time was dealing with this nonsense. And let me tell y'all something right now, with everything going on in the world, one thing that all of us have in common, we did not get to pick and choose the facts of which we had to deploy and do business, right? We couldn't just sit there and emotionally say, oh yeah, well, I don't like that person, this, that, other. Last I checked, physics still reigns supreme. So when bullets are coming at you, or planes are coming at you, or ships are coming at you, I can't whisk it away with different facts, right? Or alternative facts, as it was called in the first Trump administration. So it gave me an appreciation of processing real time what's happening, logic-based thinking, removing as much bullshit away from the situation. Because think about it, y'all. There's a reason we have a military. It's when diplomacy fails, and then they send us into the most ridiculous situations, the ultimate gray. And what the politicians and everybody back home wants is for everything to be black and white. Black and white, black and white, black and white. And who's going to do that? We're supposed to do that, right? And so to come to serve 20-something years, 26 years counting Annapolis, and then come home and to watch people just make shit up because they don't like this, or they have some twisted view of what America should be or was, most of which is from John Wayne films, and that dude was a draft dodger. I'm like, really? This is the standard? So to see that happen, right? And people around who you grew up with, who you thought had logic-based thinking, just jump headfirst into, for lack of a better term, an ignorant cult is insane. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I did not deploy multiple times. I did not spend time away from family and kids and this, that, and other to come home to this nonsense, man. I just can't. And so, me and Dan, we started a podcast. So if anybody is bored, please, by all means, on Valor Media Network, the Gedunk Podcast, where this week we finally go into it. We finally go into it because at the end of the day, history is going to judge us, right? Right now, we are failing this test. And, when Ken was telling me about you guys, I'm doing research. I'm like, oh, so I'm not crazy. I'm not an idiot. There are people who literally like, what the hell is this? What is this bullshit? So, by all means, y'all, please push to your people, the people that love you, that are acting a damn fool. Stay on their ass. Stay on their ass like a hobo on a ham sandwich, because in the first 3 weeks of this damn administration, we have watched the clock go backwards, right? I mean, like slow-mo. I mean, right now, I feel like I should have a freaking after-dinner martini and a damn pipe, which I have right here, because apparently it's the 50s. I'll wake up tomorrow and it'll be goddamn the late 1800s, and I'll wake up next week and I'll be in chains like we're back in slavery. I mean, at some point, someone's got to stop the stupid train from leaving the station. But I'm off my rant. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's what we do here. So
please go on.
I mean,
well, let me give you an opportunity to rant some more, because you said something that I think is very poignant, and that is the military gets deployed because it is the last resort when diplomacy has broken down. In America, we are now officially, as of Sunday, when our forever president has decided that he doesn't have to obey the laws, that the court orders don't mean anything. Judges have made court orders. Kash Patel is in charge of the people who enforce those rules, and he's been told to stand down. That means we are officially right now in a authoritarian dictatorship and no longer a democracy built on laws, and that's just a fact. Anybody else who wants to deny it, it's only because it hurts too much to think about the truth of the matter. Until somebody enforces that law, that's exactly what we're in right now. And I want everybody to let that sink in. So diplomacy has broken down. And I'm going to start off right off the top with the big one. When is it time for the only people who are left who can enforce standards and who have an oath to the Constitution and not a dictator to step in? When is it time for veterans or military to enforce the laws that the Justice Department will not?
So lot to unpack there, and I don't think you're being hyperbolic at all. I just used the big officer word. So wait, I don't think you're being over the top. All right. So let's take a time.
We have an intelligent audience. We have an intelligent audience. They know.
Excellent. So I was about to. So Elo, you being the resident oracle, what I'm saying, a real life Barbara Gordon. Here is what we've seen this before. There's a reason Trump has Andrew Jackson's statue behind the Resolute desk. Indeed. He is the guy, for the first time in American history, told the Supreme Court to pack Sam when the Native Americans in this state of Georgia sued and won and said, we ain't going nowhere. We have reservation treaties in the state of Georgia. We get to stay here. And Andrew Jackson famously said, the Supreme Court has given their ruling. Now let's see them enforce it. Completely abdicating his responsibility as chief executive of the United States. Executive meaning execute, right? So needless to say, damn genocide basically happened on their way to Oklahoma. Trump doesn't know much about history, but someone told him that story in his first term, and he loved it. And I'll never forget when he was sitting behind the Resolute desk informing us of who Andrew Jackson was. Like, yes, we understand who he is. Welcome to the historical party, fool. This is what he did. Ever since he found out about that guy, he's been itching to do stuff like this, where he knows the courts are going to be the only ones that's going to say something against him. And he's like, okay, well, let's see them enforce it. Interesting enough, the oath that we all took, depending on if you're enlisted or officer, was different. When you take the enlisted oath, it says to obey the orders of the president and every officer appointed above me. Given it many times when I re-enlisted someone. However, there is no such clause in the officer re-enlistment or re-upping oath. It says to take this obligation freely without mental evasion, purpose evasion, all that. There's no word president in there because the officers of the military are supposed to be the last sanity check against a tyrannical commander-in-chief. Let me say that one more time. Yes, y'all think I'm making this up? Google that as we talk. Look up the enlistment oath and look up the officer oath for the armed forces of the United States of America. There's a reason that it's not there. Do you think our founding fathers, do you think presidents and everybody in the past were too stupid to not just copy and paste? No. We're the fail-safe. We're the fail-safe. Now, here's the other piece of this that I find unbelievable. Again, going back in time using history. Congress has always been the ultimate check to the president, not the court system. Okay. When FDR died in office, April 12, 1945, it took them less than 10 years to put together the 25th Amendment, limiting how long a president could be in power because they were like, the man's a damn king, and it will apply to the president after Truman. That's how they did it. 10 years of total service is all that's allowed. It can be broken up, and if someone dies in office, blah, 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 but they did that on purpose. Congress, for the first time in American history, is deferring to the executive branch. For the first time. We are at what's the 119th Congress. So that means, and people need to understand, when we say Congress, the first one was 1789. Every 2 years, we get a new Congress and they get a new number. We've done this over 100 times in our history, and this is the first time where Congress is like, let the chief executive do whatever he wants. Unprecedented. So when you're telling me, hey, this is uncharted, you're right, because we've never seen this. We actually had a civil war and it did not happen, right? And I hate to be the super nerd about this, but dude, it keeps me up at night.
It's terrifying.
It keeps me up at night. It's the institutions they held fast the first term. So what is he doing? He's going in and rooting out the institutions before he does this stuff. So when you look at these comical, let me make sure I'm very, very clear, comical appointees he rolled in front of the Senate.
Absolutely.
You know, Hegseth. I am literally more qualified to be Secretary of Defense than he is. I'm a higher rank, more educated, didn't get accused of adultery 3 times, didn't sit there and get accused of sexual assault, and hadn't ran 2 damn nonprofits into the ground.
There's a shit stain on my underwear that's more qualified than him.
My point.
So come on.
My point. But this is the dude because, and I've said this multiple times. I honestly believe that Trump thinks he's a multiverse version of himself. Like if he had served and he was young, you know, because the 3 wives. There's too much that aligns with the younger version of an alternate version Trump. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's the alternate multiverse guy, and he just sees it in him. But Kash Patel. Are you kidding me? The man shouldn't even darken the doors of Capitol Hill. You know, wow. Gabbard, who's been compromised, overwhelmingly compromised. It's obvious, right? Very. And we're sitting here and watching men and women, some of which wore the nation's cloth, go out of their way and become the biggest contortionists you've seen outside of Russia to say, that's the person that I want in that critical position. Are you kidding me, Joni Ernst? I'm calling them out now. You're kidding me? You got it on good authority. John Thune. You're serious? This is to quote Killmonger, this is your king? This is your king, apparently. Mm-hmm. Because that is what's happening here. And then here's what's going to happen. I'm going to predict the future right now. This will fail because eventually too many average Americans are going to be affected by this. And watch the backpedaling that these people will do. It will make Deion Sanders look geriatric. I mean, they are going to backpedal their asses to sit there and say, oh, I had nothing to do with it. But in today's society of social media, high definition cameras, blah, blah, we got the tapes. We got the tapes. But it doesn't really matter to them as long as they stay in power, which is why I'm a big advocate of congressional term limits like nobody's business. You know, you fix all of this by having term limits and public funding of campaigns. Everything stops now. You know,
so
very simple.
I'll let someone else go before I go off.
I also said I'd like to see the ranked choice voting system that we've seen in a number of states adopt in there, because it prevents a far extreme from being able to get in.
Exactly. When Citizens United was adjudicated by the Supreme Court, we removed the final backstop, really, of having some normalcy and predictability in our electoral process. Let me make sure y'all understand something too. I said this in the podcast that Dan and I just did. Please again take a look at it on Valor Media. But there's a reason that the whole world used the United States dollar as its currency of baseline. Predictability, stability, and the alliances that we had made it easier for international business to be conducted. You know what the rate is. You know the dollar is going to be good for blah, blah. In 3 weeks, that man has thrown all that away. When you have the president of France, who, by the way, the country that was here when this country started, the country that we helped liberate in World War I, World War II, all of this, when you have their president going to other NATO allies talking about what are we going to do with the United States, and if they go to Greenland, what we going to do now? I'm sorry. As someone who has extensive time dealing with NATO, this is the most batshit crazy thing I think I've ever seen. Literally, I'm trying to wake up from the matrix. I'm trying to shake off the coil to get out of this and be like, okay, that was a terrible simulation. Rerun it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I feel like. Literally, we went to war with these people. Literally. And now you're telling me, hey, we're going to go down to the Panama Canal. We're going to take that. I helped protect the Panama Canal when I was in command. That big thing in the back there, our units would go and escort our American and Allied ships through that canal. Now we're just like, take it. I dealt with the Canadians multiple times. I've dealt with, I've been around Greenland. I mean, this is insanity, y'all.
It's insanity. And you can't imagine what is going to happen that's going to enable this to go on for 4 years. How? And I'm really very worried about the debt ceiling conversation that's going to occur pretty soon.
Now, God, man, this is like I found my tribe. Y'all are absolutely right on this, because here's the other piece of this. The economic turmoil, going back to that debt ceiling that you're talking about, is going to be so out of whack because the man thinks tariffs are poker chips. Yep. Okay. Without understanding the ripple effect of how long companies have to plan in advance to be profitable at that macro level, right? And so the ripple effect of tariff. I mean, what was today or yesterday? He's like 25% tariff on steel products now. How's that working out for you, union people that voted for this clown? How's that working out?
All of the we told you so. We told you so. We told you how long can it go on? How much is going to have to burn down before these people do actually realize the cutting off Social Security, cutting off Medicare, cutting, that's the stuff that's going to get the masses.
Yes.
Those people aren't going to stand for it. That's got to happen. They stop getting their checks.
Yes. And to circle back to those tariffs, there is no way to spin up, a steel plant in a week.
No,
you can't. So the shortfall of that means scarcity in the market, which means the prices for anything that depends on steel and aluminum are going to go up.
That's going to go up
substantially.
You guys are nailing this. Y'all are nailing this. And here's the thing. All of us have this experience of being in a service. Most of, that means we get to go abroad, blah, blah, blah. The average American, unfortunately, doesn't have our perspective, right? Boot camp, anybody's boot camp experience, it hammers home a couple of things. It's not about you, it's about everybody, right? I don't know how to say this any less delicately, but we are now generating a generation of Americans that literally are like, me first, me first, and if everything burns down around me, as long as I'm good, I'm fine. And it's being shown the way by the person that's supposed to be leading everybody. And like y'all are saying, until it hits that person individually, they won't care.
I think that's part of the problem with economics in general, is that most economics is slow burn. It doesn't affect you until the next quarter, the next half year, when whatever supply that's being messed with runs out and more has to be bought. Until that happens, you don't see the fluctuation. So you don't see that immediate impact. And they can spin it away as, oh, well, the price of soda cans went up because, the Democrats. And then they'll leave it at that. Well, and they're told to be like, yeah. Democrats are out there. Therefore, soda got more expensive. Makes perfect sense to me.
Well, I've thought long and hard about why people are walking away from the logic, right? Because at some point, you have to have the willing suspension of disbelief. Just, everything I see doesn't matter, blah, blah. So the question I've been asking myself is why? Now, a little bit more about my background. Atlanta is like the black Mecca, right? But at the same time, it's surrounded by rural country, Georgia, blah, blah. I got to be in both worlds. As a matter of fact, some of my family members called me the day walker because I went to the elite private school and then came back down here in darkness. Whatever. It is what it is. But here's the thing, right? I've sat in my room just sitting there thinking, how is this happening? And here's the conclusion that I've come to. Pride is a powerful drug. There are people that have the inklings knowing things are wrong, but they've been so public backing this guy that they feel like they have no choice but to ride it until the wheels fall off. And then there's the other aspect that's racial as well as economic. The racial piece is, to be honest, there's this fascination with the term and the thought process of whiteness that allowed Latinos to vote against their own best interests, that allows other minorities to continue to vote for it. And they believe if they just have a seat at the table, no matter if it's under the table like a dog, it's going to be better than not being associated.
Proximity.
Yes,
the proximity to whiteness. Okay.
And, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that proximity is it's been fool's gold. It's always been fool's gold in America. 1 out of 7 soldiers in the Confederacy had slaves. 1 out of 7. So why were there so many that fought to enslave people they didn't even own? I'll tell you why. Because that landed gentry told them one day, if you work hard, you too can be an estate holder and this, that, and the other. And they write about it. This is why they don't want you to learn history, because the history of America in particular, more so than any other civilization before it, has been so well written and preserved by the people that lived it, that if they expose you to it, it's going to shatter your mind. Anytime I hear anybody talk about, for example, Robert E. Lee, like, oh, he was such a gentleman, the lost cause. I'm like, I'll refer you to the New York Times, 1848. Google him. Google what he said, a young Lieutenant Colonel Lee, about how to discipline their slaves, how they whip them and then go get brine, which is seawater from the ocean, and rub it in so it really hurts. That's your king? But see, they don't know that because they're not taught that. And so this proximity to being economically exclusive, that is what this is about. And this goes all the way back to the founding of Jamestown, right? So for those who don't know, the term white did not originate in Europe. It was originated here in Virginia. Do you want to know why? Because back then, when you came to this country, right, you were known by the nation of origin. They'll describe your physical features. So there was a dark man from Denmark by the name of John. He was an indentured servant. There were 2 of his boys from the same country, and they were tired of being indentured servants. They took off and ran into the woods and tried to join a tribe. They got found and brought back. And the governor of Virginia thought, oh my gosh, we are outnumbered. The landed gentry are outnumbered by the indentured servants. How do we segregate them? And so when he ruled, he gave 5 additional years to both of the what we would call white guys, and then told the dark-skinned person, you are now going to be an indentured servant in perpetuity, turning him into a slave. Right then and there, for the first time in what became America, did we see this separation happen, because they saw the lower class coming together. And they realized they were outnumbered. And we have bought into that myth ever since. The same generations in America that were poor back then, a lot of them are still poor now, and they're white, right? They didn't have the legal thing and all this other kind of stuff. So we're seeing Trump tap into that. And it just so happens that that population overwhelmingly is where the military goes to get their recruits. And they offer those benefits and this, that, and the other. But here's the flip side that happens. The poor, lower class whites get mixed in with the other minorities for the first time, and they find out, oh my God, that's one of my boys. Oh my God, these people are cool. Oh my God. And things change. And then we go, and as the military became more integrated, we became more efficient, we became better at our job to the point where we're the best in the world now, right? These myths that were thrown out by the super elite going all the way back to 1609 is the original sin of America. And the people that support Trump are the same people back in the 1700s, back in the 1800s that fought the Civil War, who are still hoping to be elevated to a level that they're never going to get to because they're not going to let you.
Yep.
And once you figure that out, you look at history completely different. Like I said, white was a term that we exported back to Europe, and it was very popular. But when you stop and think about how did Donald Trump, who was born in 1946, right after the end of World War II, get to this position, right? It literally comes from government help, dodging government and dodging civic responsibility, and then literally playing the media better than anybody in his generation. He's a baby boomer, but his dad, his great-grandfather came here because guess what he was doing? Dodging a draft in Germany. Dodging a draft. You have that many men for this many generations in America, and not one of them has served. Two world wars, Vietnam, everything. None of them. And the one that tried, you made so much fun of him, he basically drunk himself to death. Mary Trump's father. Make it make sense, Sway. How? How are we here talking about this is the guy that should be leading us forward when he has never sacrificed anything? He got $400 million from his dad, documented. Okay. His dad got that money from government contracts, building government housing during World War II. And then once World War II was over, as soon as he could, get the Negroes out and got sued and lost.
Yep.
But this is your leader. This is who's going to make America great again. And anytime I hear that term, I'm like, give me the date. That's all I want. I don't even argue with people. Just give me the date. I want the month, the day, and the goddamn year that you last considered America great. I'll wait. I'll wait. I got nothing but time and opportunity. Educate me.
So, an even better question, when they say make it great again, when you say, well, when was it great? They try to flip that to go, well, you think it was never great. Okay, well, when did it stop being great?
All right,
look, give me that date.
According to them.
Because that'll be more telling. Was it when Barack came in? Is that what you're saying? Or was it when we were free?
So if you want to have that conversation,
okay,
I call it. We've been paying the Obama tax now for a decade. I call it the Obama tax.
They were really mad about that. It's a
still mad.
Backlash.
They're still
none
mad.
other.
I want to open this up to everybody.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. I want to get back focused on the existential threat that we're dealing with, right? Right now, there was a CBS poll, was it? That's 52% of America is saying they're okay with. I don't believe that poll for a second, but say it's more like 47, which is more realistic. Say that they're okay with. Oh, they think that it's all right what he's doing. They're okay with where he's been in the last month. You said that there's going to be a backtrack. Come in a few years when everything goes to hell, there's going to be a backtrack. Here's my question, or here's I want to open up to let everybody just give their thoughts on this. That 52%, is the exact 52% who aren't black, autistic, have someone in school, or thinks that their school won't get shut down, not a woman of color. anybody who personally hasn't been or isn't touched by what's exactly going on is okay with it. I'm not sure if I can even blame that on Trump. I think that has been something ingrained for a while, and it's sickening. But the biggest piece of that news is, by the time that number goes down and everything does affect them, the first 100 days of Trump's presidency will be done. And if we're looking, and if we're reading, and if we're remembering, Project 2025 has a plan to get done in the first 100 days. And god dang, if that isn't the first on time, absolute paperwork and agenda ever produced in the history of American government. So I don't see a reason why it would go longer than 100 days, because everything right now is going exactly according to plan, line by line, ticking it off.
Can I say this on that?
Can we wait for that? Or how do we stop that?
So
first
a couple
100
of things.
days.
I would say this. I think the concern is right. However, y'all got to remember the mechanism that they're doing this. It's all executive order. Congress is yet to pass any laws, right?
Yeah.
So literally someone could come in and undo all this tomorrow. Here's the thing, though. They realize, because they're not stupid, they realize they have a small window of time before this catches up and the approval ratings tank.
Right.
They realize this. This has been planned out. You're right. Project 2025 gives you this. But what they're trying to do is set up a long-term system in that short amount of time that makes it very hard to overcome. What I mean by that, for example, you know damn well they can't stop federal funding and grants for like the VA and all this other kind of stuff. They just can't. They can't. They thought they could, but they underestimated the backlash that the media gave them. And then VA people who voted for them, they flooded see, this is the part that a lot of people ain't talking about. They flooded their congressmen. Like, what do you mean I ain't getting paid? Y'all seen some of these clips, SNAP payments not going on in Appalachia, food stamps not going, shocked them to where they stopped it. And not only did they stop it, they did y'all remember Trump was trained by this guy called Roy Cohn in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Who said, you never admit that you're wrong and you never apologize. Now, this is the guy that was Joseph McCarthy, the Red Scare dude in the 50s, his right-hand man. Yep. Okay. Yep. So even when they backtracked, they made it seem like it was an administrative error, right? They know that they know this all is going to be challenged in court. They're trying to do the damage while they can. It's not a coincidence that Trump's Bitcoin went up when it did. It's not a coincidence that these tariffs are going up when they are, because the first quarter, because the first 100 days, that's basically the first economic quarter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They realize there's going to be a lag effect for that economic slam. They know that. And everything that they're doing, every EO that he has signed has been divisive. Not one thing has brought the country together. Not one. Because they're drawing their lines in the sand. They're trying to get people lined up to be in the courts, which to me is a shadow presidency, because courts are lifetime appointments. Once they get in, you can't get them out, which is why the Democrats did what they did right before the new Congress came in, because they denied Barack Obama a ton of appointments. Mitch McConnell did. Right. So understand the game we're playing. I don't think we're at panic yet. When we should get to panic is November. Why do I say that? Has nothing to do with Congress, because they still have another year. People, you got to look strategically at this, the state houses and those elections, right? Ronald Reagan made a statement when he came in office in the 80s, and he said, we must dominate local politics, right? Part of what Project 2025 is to reshape everything, where even at the local level, the opposition cannot fight. So if you look at the gerrymandering of states, that's a local election thing. But guess what? It has swung Congress to where, especially if you live where we live in the South, it is hard as hell to flip your state house, to flip the damn U.S. House of Representatives, because of the gerrymanderings that even the conservative ass Supreme Court was sitting there saying, man, this
told
is
them
bad.
they had to redraw it.
Yeah, this is bad, right? So November to me, is the biggest line of demarcation. November 2025, not 2026. Governors and executive power and the expansion at the local level is just as important as everything up here. The Democrats' problem, in my humble opinion, is they get too caught up with the flashiness of the White House. Meanwhile, Congress is whooping your ass. And God dang it, the Supreme Court's laughing at you as belt to ass is put to you. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? You give up 2/3 of the damn federal branches of government willingly. And here's the question I would ask right now. And what's today? Today is February 11th, 2025. Where in the hell is the next Democratic hopeful? You can't name them.
They need to be grooming somebody, and they don't play the long game. They're not playing the long game. It's all reaction. React.
Yeah, because well,
Hey.
I'll tell you why.
Will you be running again? Will you be running again?
So I guess the chat. So I ran for little local Fayette County commissioner. It's the first time anybody ran against any. It was always uncontested. The first time a Democrat ran against Republican, and I performed better than I definitely should have. I don't know if I can be more effective as someone running for office again locally, or just yelling at these fools and clowning them on a regular basis. Because this election showed me two things. Number one, people are willing to bet on the individual. They're not willing to bet on the party. And that's the party's fault. And number two, the most influential voices in the political space have nothing to do with legacy media. It's all what you're doing. It's all what podcasts are doing. Blah, blah. And the Democrats, and I say this with all due respect, but when you have people that lose elections run your national committee, Jamie Harrison, then you expect to lose. Then you expect to god dang lose. You lost in South Carolina and Lindsey Graham was vulnerable. And they made you, hey, you failed up. You want to talk about DEI? That's DEI. That's a problem. That's a fundamental problem, right? Here's what I'm saying. If we're going to make any change, it's got to start local. So when people ask, what can I do? Get involved in your local government. Go to your commissioner meetings when they have them once a month. It's only an hour, whatever, but make it a point to go, because all of a sudden when they realize people are looking, they start thinking, because everything that we're talking about happens in darkness and no one's putting light on it. Secondly, have the hard conversations. Some of that will be with family, but you guys, this whole, I'm just going to let it go. If 11-year-old little black kids, girls and boys in the 60s could walk in front of some damn dogs and some hoses, your bitch ass can get up and tell people you are fucking up. Let me be very clear when I say that. My mother is 74 years old, grew up in segregated ass Greenville, South Carolina. Okay. Mm-hmm. She lived this. This is not ancient history. And these kids, at that age, they were like, you know what? We got to do, we're going to go to jail, singing, running from dogs. But I'm too scared to have a conversation. Oh, I don't want to be called out on Facebook. If you don't get your bitch ass to the back and let real motherfuckers step up in the front and do something, because I ain't got time for this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have kids that I'm supposed to be leaving a better society to, right? A better society. We got kids now, 18 and above, that don't want to vote. Vote. You had women in the 70s marching in the streets knowing what they were going to be exposed to. You had people of different sexual orientation having their places burnt to the ground. But I don't want
because those people marched right now, the effects of racism, the effects of extreme classism, the effects of misogyny can be more hidden, can seem more far away. And so it seems like the only time that the reason why they were willing to march is because they had to drink in a separate fountain. It was in their face every day. Every single day you were told you were less than. You don't belong here. You were called the N-word. There were crosses burning. But there was a whole Northern America, the Yankees, that wasn't that flagrant. But you ask black people in Chicago, they'll tell you, yeah, it was. But when it was okay not to be seen, well, that's the reason why the marching worked, was because the people who were okay with going like this had to look at it on their TV. And all of a sudden, it was like, well, I mean, I didn't know they were actually putting dogs on them. I mean, I knew they had separate drinking fountains, but I didn't know that they were upset with that. I thought that was just how they liked it down there, right?
I hear you.
Now though, I was racist before it was cool to be racist. It's what a kid says. A kid who's now taking over the treasury, who's now putting thumb drives in the USA computers, right?
I would say
I'm at a loss as to how to bring that reality back to them, to let them know why it was important, why they marched, and why they have it so good now.
Well, again, going back to that original point of why do you think they want to defund education so bad and they want to control what is taught? It's basically the Daughters of the Confederacy on steroids, right? But here's the thing that I need y'all to understand, right? You bring up a very damn good point about it was in your face in the 50s and the 60s. It's subtle now. Let me tell you something. If I can go on Instagram right now and know the color thong that a woman is wearing that's super popular, blah, blah, then God damn it, you can sit there and say when you incur some bullshit, put it on there. Our forefathers, our grandparents didn't have social media to broadcast and tell their stories. The world has become more complex because people who lived in their bubble have had it burst by social media, right? And that part is where you use it. Gaza is a prime example of what I'm talking about. When everything flew off in October of last year and everybody's like, oh my God, what is happening, right? Everybody was like, yes, the response with Israel, blah, 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 blah. But then the social media feeds from the innocent Gazans that were caught in crossfire, right, with the overwhelming response made this a much more complex issue. Complex. It wasn't just this side is right, this side is wrong. You saw the suffering. And when you are able to convey a personal story to someone directly, it changes the game. The civil rights movement was effective because the people marching didn't fight back. And they saw the savagery of hate around the world for the first time in modern time, like around the world. So when you sit there and we talk about, yeah, this stuff is going underground. So we've been there before. Only difference is we didn't have these magical tools with the camera and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, where you can live stream it. Literally, someone cursing you out being racist, boop, live. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's mind blowing, but you have to look at it. Information has always been the ultimate power in human society. It's never been the weapons. The weapons just merely help shape information when you really think about it, right? And so for the first time in human history, a kid that is in Angola can broadcast something that could change the world like that, without filter, without censorship. You have to use that. You have to use that as a weapon. And another thing I'll say too is, you know, we've been here before again when it comes to these oligarchs. You know, today it's Musk and Google, but I mean, 120 years ago it was Carnegie and Rockefeller, and then before that, we can go down the list, right? But what has always happened is there has been something that happens in America where it forces those oligarchs to sit there and recognize humans. The formation of unions is how we dealt with it the first time. And it just so happened that you had the right person in place in a Roosevelt and Theodore that was like, what the hell, man? This is ridiculous, right? I believe that these things can happen again. I believe they will happen again, to be honest with you. But this is like a fever that we have to sweat loose and break. But the only break is going to happen when everybody else stands the hell up and say enough. Enough. I guarantee you, everybody goes to work. They see something that they know is blatantly wrong, someone being treated wrong, and we just let that shit go. We just let it go. Like, not my problem. I got to focus on this, that, and the other. Well, your federal government is now doing that to you. Not my problem if you don't got your SNAP payments. Not my problem, veterans, if we shut down funding. And by the way, the suicide line is now off the hook.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Make it your problem.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the point, right? Y'all know, in the Navy we have this thing, preventative maintenance system, PMS, to keep your equipment running before it actually breaks, because it's much cheaper to do that.
We call it in the Army, it's PMCS.
Yes, that exactly. I couldn't remember the but y'all, we all know what that is, right? And there's a reason we do it. But when you have people that are now in power that have no idea what it's like to lead people, right? Of course it's going to fall apart. Government is not business. This is what I've been saying since they got in office. Government's not business. Like, well, be efficient. Yeah, government should be efficient. And there should be checks, audits, and balances. But government is designed to do for the people what the people cannot do for themselves. That's government. That's why you have it.
It is service, and that is what
service.
Those people don't understand.
Exactly. It's not designed to make a damn profit. It's not.
Monetizing things is not service. It's two very different things.
And it's not designed to do that, because guess what? Every damn last one of y'all in this damn chat that have served, you know what I'm saying? They can't pay you back enough money for what they can't pay you by the hour. This country would be broke tomorrow.
Right.
It'd be broke tomorrow. So guess what? You know how you pay us back? When we sit there and say, hey, man, my leg is freaking jacked up. It's been jacked up for 8 years. Hey, have a seat. Let's take a look at it. Let's get you straight. You know what I'm saying? Well, my back is misaligned because I stood hour after hour after hour on watching a freaking fob, looking in the back, and I'm like, I have no idea what the hell this is, and I'm looking at, but I'm here. And 80 pounds of freaking gear, battle rattle, and a battle buddy, and we're gonna be doing this the next 6 months.
It's the covenant that the nation enters into with those who swear to serve the nation. That you give up your time, your body, sometimes your life, and the nation is supposed to take care of you for it. That is what those tax dollars are supposed to go to. And now I worry that with Elon Musk building his back doors into these systems, that even if the Congress loses its gumption to hold the course and continue with defunding, that he may just have the off switch, and there would be nothing anyone could do to stop it.
Can we talk about him for a second?
We can.
I'm sorry, MAGA. I thought you didn't want foreign influence in this country. I'm sorry, MAGA. I thought that we did not want immigration to come in here and take jobs from good, hard-working Americans. I'm sorry. How did we get here?
Well, they told you that they didn't want immigration, but they were okay with Putin.
Yeah.
So they told you what that was. You know what that is.
Look,
they don't want.
Look,
you know what that is.
Look, we have a guy that is sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom. The last foreigner of this much consequence to sleep in that bedroom was Winston Churchill during World War II, when he came and like, hey, Lend-Lease, we need weapons. The Nazis are coming. The fact that he is in the same damn room, doing the exact opposite. Again, it's the alternate timeline. Someone needs to go replace the Infinity Stones right now, because this is some bullshit. This don't make no sense.
I thought he was in the Eisenhower building, sleeping in his office.
He was sleeping in there. Yeah.
Because he initially, from what I've been told, and I saw, y'all can Google this too, that man went to the White House the first couple of days and they booted him out.
Yeah, they had to boot him.
They booted him out. But the fact that he was there because he was annoying everybody. But the fact that he even got to go there.
Shocking.
You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable to me. I'm a big nerd when it comes, I'm a comic book nerd, Marvel guy, DC, whatever. And I'm like, this is some superhero James Bond villain shit that's happening to our country. Like, all you need is like the cackling in the background, the laughing, and a cat for him to be stroking in the damn Oval Office.
I mean, if they weren't such psychopaths and they all hate animals, yeah, they should definitely have a cat in there.
But he has failed up. He is the epitome of failing up. He comes in, he grifts, and he takes other people's. Tesla. He didn't start Tesla, but when he yanked it from everybody, he put in the contract when he took it over I'm the founder. What? I mean, PayPal. I mean, we can go down the list.
He didn't create any of that stuff. He bought it all. Just goes and buys stuff like a kid, like a child.
Yes, and he's bought, just like Trump bought fake hair, and that's like he's some
the hair thing's pretty.
I mean, dude, this guy and his son was in the White House. I don't know if y'all saw this. New York Times is like he just made some shit up, and his son's in the White House, and his son is called X, and I'm just like that poor guy. That poor guy, the narcissism that he is just being enveloped with, right, is astronomical.
I'm thinking about everybody having sex with him, and it's just
one of the 14 or 15 kids he has by like 4 different women or something.
He has 11 kids with like 6 women, I think.
Yeah, well, he's a supporter of that neo-birthism. I think that's what it's called. Movement.
All of this and the crazy shit about his dad has kids with his stepdaughter.
I read that story and it made me fucking. You ever not quite puke, but you get that feeling in your throat, like right here,
that warm kind of,
where you're like,
and just all the quotes from both of them, like everybody's just supposed to populate the earth. That is, as long as you're white, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's certain people they want to.
Yes, only certain people. The rest of you, everybody else is polluting our bloodlines and stuff.
Bloodlines. I feel like they cribbed that from some guy in the 1930s.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
so familiar.
Can't imagine where they're getting that from.
Here's the question that I have for you guys, right? Especially what he's doing specifically to the military. And I can't figure this out. If you alienate every minority group, if you alienate women from joining the military, but yet you have below average numbers of white men that are trying to join, how are they going to feel the force when the inevitable ally or this, that, and how are we going to do this? Because I don't think they look at the military as a force.
Well, to hear them talk, one of their big propaganda pushes has been to claim that there has been this massive explosion of enlistment. They OAN and the Washington Examiner claimed 350,000 men had signed up to join the Army, which is unbelievable bullshit.
Since when? 2000? Since when?
They said just in December alone that 350,000 men had listed, which is utter nonsense. The entirety of recruiting was something like 10,800.
I mean, how big is the Army? Army active duty forces is how big now? 1.2, something like that, 1.2 million?
Somewhere around
Not counting guard?
Yeah.
So you're telling me we got a damn near 25% increase in recruits?
That's what they claim, and it's clearly bullshit. It's nowhere near reality. Anyone who has any concept of these numbers knows it has to be wrong, but they are blasting it across social media. It's on their different podcast shows, and it's going out that it's just a fact that this mysterious, basically, army of white conservative men is proudly marching forth to join the new Reich, and they're just going to just take everything over. They don't have to worry about all those people of color and them women folk. We just push them out. We got all these people who want to come in and serve. It's just here's
the problem with that, Matt. That what you're saying right there. When Trump came down the golden escalator and he paid people to be in the crowd, he's building a false acceptance. If people think that there's 350,000 people there and they believe it, they will come. They'll go, well, I want to do that too then. I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah.
So you can
I better hurry.
A false consensus.
I got to get my spot.
False consensus. Yep.
I hope they've got room left.
First of all, I don't think there are 350,000 physically and mentally eligible people to join that quickly. Right. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Based on the standards. And so, listen. Everything that this man has been about presentation. And to be honest, American society helped create the guy. We did. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I was never so mad as when I saw the Apprentice producers talk about all the stuff they did to make him look competent. I wanted to punch them all in the throat.
We all do, yeah.
Because I'm like,
now it's time for the throat punch.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? So, look, at the end of the day, what we can do is, like I said, you start local and then start amplifying voices. We got to get you guys broadcast in as many channels as possible. I know I'm going to be pushing it. Our little measly little podcast just started. Please go click and like it. But we need to start inundating the space because we seeded too much. Like back in the day, it was AM radio that was just dominated by conservative right-wing talk. And the left never went after it. Okay. Joe Rogan had 80 million people listen to that interview with Donald Trump, and Kamala Harris decided not to go on there. To this day, I want to know what the heck her advisors were telling her. Again, going back to my Democratic committee national chair, Jamie Harris, people who lose elections sitting there telling you how to win. How you going to sit there? That's like me coaching the Super Bowl, right? I never coached in the Super Bowl. I never won Super Bowl. And then I'm coaching, and I'm a Falcons fan. I'm not going to win the Super Bowl coaching you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
28-3.
Yes. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So
you've got to get somebody shameless.
I'm gonna take a quick break to these. I'll be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
But and here's the other thing too. We need to be as strong and as vocal as the other side, right? We were too polite for too long as our rights got taken from us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't need ladies. I need Amazons. You know what I'm saying? I don't need men. I need dogs with a
that'd
W.
Be some great t-shirt material right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good too.
That is good.
Especially because so much we get the shit about how we can't be Sons of Liberty because there's women admins, and we're like,
no, that's
getting it.
They're not getting. No, feel free, put that on a t-shirt, sell that, put it everywhere because
I need. Did you write yourself a note, Matt? Make a note of it.
I need that mentality.
Tim went away, right?
T-shirt committee, but yeah.
One thing we've been trying to do is mobilize people by giving them scripts and points, letters to call and write to their representatives. Like sometimes people want to, but they don't know what to say. So we've been working hard on trying to get people to get those talking points so that they can call them up. I actually have a friend who called up Ted Cruz's office today, and the guy started arguing with her, the staffer.
Yeah, you know what? When I see someone like Ted Cruz, man, when I see Ted Cruz actual like on TV, I just think to myself, man, if I had to define the term "bitch made," that would be the picture. Him. And then he grew the facial hair to try to look more robust.
What a miserable little
instead
man.
of round.
Yeah. He's trying. Look, gravity's whooping your ass. It's been doing it since you've been born. The beard ain't going to do nothing for you. So I don't know why. For the life of me, I don't understand why these people who are the absolute opposite of masculinity are the ones they put on a pedestal. Donald Trump wears high heel shoes.
He puts a cowboy hat on and a ballistic vest, and they think he's a warrior out there. It's like he's the first one jumping to hide at the second something sideways.
Well, you know what's funny to me too? People like Christy Nome, Miss I'm Out Rugged, with her extensions and her perfectly laid curls.
Have you seen there's a whole compilation of all of the different outfits that she's worn?
I have not. Now I'm going to go down the rabbit hole.
Dressed as a mechanic, dressed as an ICE agent. Just nonsense.
I just don't understand how you have people who perpetrate and talk about being tough be the people they admire when you got real badasses like a Tammy Duckworth over here sitting there like, hey, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Phony. They're just so fake and phony.
And I think
like,
it
you
goes.
Believe that?
I think it goes back to your point that they have flooded the zone with these are your masculine role models, and nobody else is arguing.
No.
We're sitting on the sidelines going, yeah, I don't like that, but I'm going to stay over here.
No,
we're not in the zone. We're not in the fight.
Leader. That is what the question that we're all asking, that you asked a little bit ago, is who's going to emerge as the leader of the movement here.
I'm gonna tell you something that
against
it is,
this
it is
stuff.
going to be controversial because I'm going to punch myself in my own groin about this. But the only one that right now there are literally 2 or 3 people that show that they have fight in them, but they all have glaring weaknesses. Like people will say AOC, right? They love her demeanor. People that study how she split ticketed Trump. The thing is, that woman has no conceptual clue about the military. Every time I hear her talk about it, I'm like, girl, do you not have a military person on your staff? Somebody, I'll do it for free, but you can't keep saying that kind of stuff.
My mom friends had some ideas. One of them's Andy Bashir.
He's the other one.
And Tim Walz.
Tim Walz, I think, if I had to put a leader in the clubhouse that could actually win, it'd be Tim.
We got to get some white guys, and I hate to say it, but that is a bad problem.
So I'm glad you brought this up, because Veterans for Responsible Leadership, we, for this election cycle, for 25-26, we are going to be backing the 2 ladies that are running for governor, one in New Jersey and Mikey Sherrill, and the other Spanberger in Virginia. Okay, these are both vets, one CIA vet and one Navy vet, who have shown remarkable, not just thinking, but can express themselves in tough. Part of the reason I think Kamala Harris did not win is America is still trying to wrestle with the prospect of a woman being in charge. Well, the only way that's going to change is if you have more women in prominent positions. If you are the governor of New Jersey, if you are the governor of Virginia, those are prominent governorships, right? And so strategically, we are targeting to help them. There's a long list of guys that we're looking at to try to help. But here's the thing. Kamala didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, based on what she was given when she was given it.
I think that's true. Yeah. And that's what's terrible about it, is that all you can put it down to is people being unwilling to vote for a woman of color.
Exactly. And so now those same people are mad that their SNAP payments are going on, right? You know what I'm saying? So you've got people like Slotkin, who just won the Senate up in Michigan, Porter, Katie Porter. Shoot, let me tell you something. That lady destroys people in testimony.
And brings the receipts.
Vicious. You know what I'm saying? Someone mentioned Liberty 1776 said Katie Porter, right? You know, I mean,
there is no weapon greater than that whiteboard in a black.
She's one of us, I'll say. She's an honorary librarian.
You know, and here's the thing. So we have people that could be it, but going back to what we said earlier, grooming them and getting them ready, right? For example, Hakeem Jeffries is the minority leader in the House. He's a nice guy. He ain't winning the president. He ain't winning the presidency. He ain't.
Right.
Let's just be real.
Not in its current state.
No, absolutely not. We've seen this before. And so, again, we need to be identifying these people now, putting them in the limelight.
For
now.
sure,
So
and that was the problem going into 2020 was that we had to have Biden. There was no other choice.
Exactly,
because they hadn't been prepping people, and this is what I mean by the long game. The long game you're talking about.
Yes.
Your mic cut out.
We lost her.
We lost your mic. Oh, there it is. Nope.
Yep.
Oh. Elon got you.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go.
You got to prep people the way you're talking
you
about,
said
putting
Elon,
women in there and showing, that this can be done, like that this is not weird to have women in leadership.
No, I agree, and it's interesting too. The more I think about this, right, I'm mad at Biden for waiting so long, this, that, and the other. But let's be real for a second, right? When Trump was running for his first reelection, was there anybody else that could have really stopped him at that point in time?
No,
I
don't think
there was no one in the docket, right?
No,
and so we have to kind of understand and not look back with the revisionist history, but there was no one else.
What do you mean? When Trump was, like Bernie
in 2020.
Oh, in 2020.
Yeah.
And there were other people running, and they kind of got peeled away, and it was a lot because people could not see that anybody else could win.
Right. So the ripple effect of all of this, it's amazing how one guy coming down an escalator can literally change the entire course of history. Yeah. And the way I'm looking at it right now, the first 2 years is damage control. The next 2 years is reassertment. and reassessment and reasserting institutional control. And then by the end of the 4 years with the new administration, repairing internationally and internally the damage that has been done. But right now, to be honest with you, if we were triaging this, right, we're just trying to keep the damn patient alive.
Yeah. And there has to be a plan. You can't assume it's going to be obvious to everybody that there needs to be a definitely not a Republican. That you can't, that's not a given. That's not the way these people think. That's not the way swing voters think.
What the Democrats need right now is they need their own version of Trump, you know, without like the racism and the stupidity. They need, in other words, they need a galvanizing figure.
Yeah.
Somebody who can like maybe adopt a quasi-populist kind of thing, but takes the whole thing, like starting today, who's out there in the streets fighting the fights and being like, this shit is wrong, this shit is bad. And also all you guys on the right, that this is bad for you as well. Democrats can fix it. You just got to suck it up and vote for us.
I wish it could be Beto.
Yeah. Well,
it could be anybody. It could be Kamala Harris. She could come back and be like, you know what? Fuck this dude.
Well, yeah, but
anybody.
Let me ask you
Somebody.
a question though. Going back to what you said, E, about the swing voter, can the swing voter stand having Kamala on the ballot again?
So here's what I think. Here's what I think. When we speak about any of these politicians, there's a reason why when Bernie was running, the entire Democratic National Committee made sure he was never on TV, made sure they paid off every MSNBC and CBS and CNN to absolutely show an empty stand rather than him speaking, to make sure that they put all of the debates on Sunday night after 6 when grandma's gone to bed. They did every single thing they could because they thought he was weak. No. They did that because the only way to get someone to be galvanizing like that is to have someone who hasn't been changing positions for 50 years. Everybody else who's been running for money, see, Trump is exactly what a Republican's wet dream is. A rich guy who philanders and says, Lord, on the corner after screwing a porn star. That's what they want. It's not a ding on him. That's what they love. They've loved that since way back, right?
Yeah,
so
you're right.
That's what it is.
They recognize that hypocrisy.
Yeah, they recognize that and they love it. And I have an entire Facebook full of just nothing but right wingers, so I can make sure I see what. And what I'm seeing there is we knew what we voted for, and it's better than expected.
That tracks with what I see on social media as well. Is they're excited about what's happening. They love the chaos. They love the house burning down. You know what? They never liked this country anyway.
That's true.
The real patriots are going to come to the forefront.
Well, they think that this is what they want without. But see, it hasn't hit them yet.
No, these are people who don't understand how anything works.
Let me finish the swing voter thing.
Of course.
The reason why that doesn't work. I mean, the reason why the swing voter would vote for Kamala, the swing voter would vote for me or Sard, would vote for E. I don't know about you, Matt. I don't know. The Eagles, yeah. But
Eagles fly, baby.
No, but the truth is, if you had somebody who was not beholden to the people who give them the money, so they'd already have to have money, and who just didn't change up and said, "Fuck you, all of you." All of you. This is what you need to do. This is how it needs to be done. And I promise you that if you ask me about what's going on in China, I'm going to say, fuck that. Get rid of the rich. Burn them. If you ask me about what's going on in in the Gulf of America, I would say, fuck that. Get rid of the rich right now, and we can worry about the Gulf of America later. But what about Iran? Fuck that. Let me tell you about the rich. Let me tell you about what they're doing to you right now. And what about the this and the that? Well, let me tell you about how they're hurting the gay people without worrying about, well, does it track well? Well, they never talked about the trans. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, you didn't. You didn't. You know why? Because you're too busy trying to weigh the money. If you have the reason why Bernie could have beaten anybody is because half of the Republicans that are saying that this is what they wanted, if you go back through their Facebook history, they had two people. It's either Trump or Bernie for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what they said. Mm-hmm. Because they saw through the bull. They saw through the money. They know Trump is a bad guy, but at least they know he's that. That's exactly what he is. And they saw Bernie as exactly what he was. And that's how the galvanizing comes in. You know, Martin Luther King wasn't trying to be Malcolm X. Malcolm X wasn't trying to be Martin Luther King.
Facts.
And they were who they were, and that galvanized the people to them. You're not going to get any of these guys who are still looking to find the best trade, the best stock trade, who are still looking to stop AOC from going on, from becoming ahead of anything. You're not going to find any of these guys that can have that galvanizing tool. And so, yeah, it could have been Kamala, but I think that the Democratic Party itself refuses to allow for that type of person. They would all lose money tomorrow.
Let me ask you guys this, and I've noticed this also in the chat. Everybody keeps saying, okay, it's a cult. But what happens when the cult is mainstream? See what I'm saying? Technically, it's not a cult anymore, right?
It's a religion.
I was about to say, then they get tax exempt status.
There it is.
Right? It's
and
like
there
Mormon.
it is. and that is the point that I'm breaking to you, right? Yeah. And when it comes to religion, people are at their most fanatical.
Yes.
Historically speaking. Yeah. So, how do you get rid of that religion if it's that detrimental? I'm going to give you the inside baseball on this. In my humble opinion, it's what happened to people that look like me when we showed up. See, history lesson, Black people are not historically Christian. Right. We are fervent Christians now. But that is because we were very religious in the motherland. And when we got here, the first thing they did was take our names, took our religion, and therefore took our identity. Those are the three things that happened to us. And you're seeing it happen real time to the average American. The religion that you think these people support, Christianity, no. This is now a perverted version, because they would run Jesus out on a railway car now, right?
Being woke.
You're seeing them forget their identity. As people forget, the United States, a bunch of different states, different cultures united. They're throwing that away. So the cultural pride, this, that, going away, and it's being replaced. But you're literally watching them take names too. Mexico, this, that, and the other. The Gulf. All of this is systemic, and it happened to Black people when we showed up here, and it was done so well that your most fervent Christians in America now are what? Black people. Think about that for a second. So we have been here, done that, got the t-shirt. The thing that's different about now than when Blacks were here, when we first showed up here, was not only can we fight back, we can communicate in real time what's happening. We tried to do that while we were still in the freaking carriages of those ships that brought us over here, trying to teach one another each other's language, this, that, and the other. It's well documented, right? But we didn't have the means to do it. The American people have the means to resist all of this, because the actions that you're seeing, again, not legislative, all executive, but it's being enabled because the people who are in Congress believe this is what the people want. The voices of opposition have been too quiet for too long and have not coordinated. So what I suggest all of us do is to literally come together. You guys get on other people's podcasts. They'll see y'all's numbers. Talk to them. I will definitely do my best to talk to other people, because this here is winning because the divisiveness of the opposition is still there.
Yeah.
From a strategic standpoint.
I gotta take off, you guys. I'm sorry, but it's been great to talk to you, Bobby, and I hope we can do this again sometime.
Oh yeah, man. Y'all can have my email. So
great.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
to
great.
dovetail off of the example you gave us there with the slaves being brought across and having to teach each other their language. Similarly, the left in this country, the opposition to Trump, is very divided, and we don't all speak the proverbial language to each other, because we got people who are for Bernie, we got people who are AOC fans, we got people who are for Hakeem Jeffries, we got people who are behind people in jail, and not all agree across the board.
Right.
But we all agree we're getting fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at alliances in history's past, even the greatest ones, they didn't agree on everything, but they agreed on the mutual enemy. Right. And so, Ronald Reagan I use Ronald Reagan a lot because he galvanized the conservative movement in modern times. He had this rule: thou should not speak bad about another conservative publicly. Right. And they were in lockstep with him throughout the 80s into the 90s. Right. And to be honest with you, if I had to say one of the biggest flaws that the opposition has, when I say opposition, I mean Democrats, and there are Republicans that are like, nope, we're not this. So I say opposition is our voices have not been coordinated long enough and well enough to have a sustained message. And because of that, we're losing, because Project 2025 was written by 31 former Trump, cabinet staff members. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They worked, they flew and saw each other. They worked all those 900 pages out to where it is like boom, 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 boom. And they speak to it like it is the gospel handed down to Moses on Mount Sinai. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Right? Meanwhile, we're still playing whack-a-mole with how we want to attack. So, I mean, the reality of it is this. We get the country that we fight for. We get the country that we vote for, and no one can act like this is a surprise. They shouldn't, because they said it. I mean, you think it's a coincidence they published Project 2025 a full year before the election? They wanted it to marinate in the souls of people. They wanted to strike fear in who they perceive to be their enemies. And now that they're executing it, the give a damn lamp is out. It's out. Due to lack of emotional content to keep it lit. They don't care. They don't care. And so my question for America is the same question I've been asking since November 5th. What you going to do about it? I have been talking to donors, trying to keep, Veterans for Responsible Leadership open. People have literally left the country. Big time donors have literally went to other countries to regroup. In the moment that you need the opposition the most, people are putting their heads in the sand. They're
Can you tell me about Veterans for Responsible?
So Veterans for Responsible Leadership is a lot like you guys. You guys started out grassroots, this, that, and the other. Dan, who started the organization, grew up in Maine, a classic conservative. But when he saw Trump come down the escalator and stuff, he was like, my spidey sense is going off. Now, this is a man that deployed with the SEAL teams and has done the hardest thing for his country. Okay. And because he got bored when he got out, decided to go back to medical school. Now he's a trauma surgeon in an ER.
That guy.
He's the classic underachiever, is what I say.
Right. Right.
And when people like him,
Johnny
like,
Kim shit there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. when you do stuff like
I'm
that,
still listening. Let's take my camera off.
Yeah, and you put it all on the line, and then you come back and you see this guy who sits there and goes after, John McCain, who I knew John McCain, right? We can talk policies all day, but I'll be damned if you sit there and ask if the man actually loved the country and call him a sucker, or all these other people that were POWs while you were going through your own personal Vietnam, dodging STDs. I mean, just the callousness of the statements, right? He was like, this is unacceptable. Then he started looking into this guy's policies. He's like, this is wrong. So on Facebook, this group started and became an actual super PAC. Now we're trying to keep the lights on, you know, to fight because everybody else is scared to say stuff. You know, everybody was on board November 4th. Where are those same voices? Have y'all noticed this?
Yeah.
They're nowhere in the spaces. They're still doing their autopsy. Meanwhile, this man is signing executive order after executive order after executive order, running the clock backwards. And we're just sitting there letting them do it.
I'm gonna say something that people won't like. Unfortunately, I need to ask: has anybody seen Joe Stein? Has anybody seen Joe Stein?
The check from Putin didn't clear.
Oh, okay. Has anybody seen the Honorable Dr. Cornel West? I'm looking for him. I'm looking for him. I'm looking for y'all. Has anybody seen the Honorable Dr. Cornel West, who just could not stand the unconscionableness going on, brother? Huh?
Man.
I'm wondering where they are.
Why are you playing with my emotions so late at night, man? Why are you making me relive trauma? Oh my God.
Because I'm just saying I'm gonna stop because obviously I was the sellout. I was the one who was supporting the evil government. And everybody who was smarter than me knew that these two people were the backbone of our morality. I'm looking for them.
Oh my God, man!
I'm looking for them. I haven't heard anything.
You better find them before I do, because it's gonna be a misunderstanding whenever I see them.
And just in case anyone playing along at home, if you were to have shifted their votes into Harris's, Harris wins the Electoral College by like 52 points, I believe.
Yes, she overwhelmingly wins the Electoral College.
Yeah. So
and you're right.
I'm looking for you.
Hide her hair.
I need your morality. I need your moral speeches right about now, doctor, brother.
My third-party protest vote is for
yes.
real.
I feel y'all's frustration, but here's the thing. Like I said, me and my Marvel-ness, we ain't got stones. We can't go back in time. Right?
Yeah, I really want them though. That's what I'm saying. If you have the Galvin, that's what I'm trying to. Hey, check it out. I'm not a violent man.
Oh my gosh!
I am.
I'm a man of peace and love.
It's true. He's very violent.
If you had that power to galvanize this many people and you got it done, I'd like you to continue to do that.
Oh my goodness!
Sons of Liberty, we're here. I'd like to see you, Doctor. I'd like to see you, Mrs. Stein. I want you to galvanize again. Can you do it again for no money?
Come on our show, bitch. I mean,
come on our
doctor.
show. I mean, love.
Listen,
brother.
Listen.
Find me a political drink. We could use your galvanizing skills. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm saying you're good at galvanizing. I can't find you because now's the time. That's all. I'm done. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I feel every ounce of pain to my atom on this, and I hear you guys. But here's the thing: how are we going to stop this from happening again? So, you know what my great fear is? My great fear is this: the midterm elections come, and they expand all their leads in the House, the Senate, and this thing is caked in. That should terrify everybody, because you know what they'll do then? Then they'll start actually trying to amend the Constitution. Let me say that one more time. So for people who don't know, to amend the Constitution, you have to have 2/3, both houses, but most importantly, you got to have 3/4 of the states in their local legislatures to approve a constitutional amendment. Constitution has been amended 27 times, but when you take out the 10 that made the Bill of Rights initially, it's only been amended once every 20 something years. Breakdown. The last time this happened, 1972, 74? And that was the voting age, because in Vietnam, you had people going off to die that couldn't vote. So they dropped it to 18. Okay. just to give y'all historical context. So we're talking a whole generation of the living document and parchment of the country has not been updated. Are you telling me they won't try to do it? Are you telling me they won't try? Heck, they already have a third term already being presented to the House. In case y'all haven't seen that, that representative comes from my great state, right?
So I want to talk to the people in the comment section. Check it out. I think maybe you're missing the point of what I'm saying, because you think I'm blaming somebody. I may have come off aggressive. Okay, I did come off aggressive because I'm upset, but the truth remains the same. I need you. There are races. There are races going on, special elections in Florida. There's special elections right now in New York. I need you, Dr. Cornell West. I'm not joking with that. No, but for real.
No, I see what you're saying. No, I completely get what you're saying.
I actually do need you now. What I'm saying
What
is,
what was the thing that
we had beef with, I would love you to come back. And whoever I did have beef with, allow me to say it more succinctly. I need you now. I need you now, is what I'm saying. I'm willing to partner with anybody who has any money, who can give to veterans for responsible leadership, who can give some backing to the SOL group, who can find someone to run or put their money where their mouth is, or be on a show to make it bigger and make the Valor Media Network bigger, that can make political drain bigger, that could give them your voice. I need you now. It's not a joke. I need you now. We need all of you now. Let's come together on that very seriously, because if what you're saying is that we need to get these places bigger, amplify these voices, that I need you now. I need you now, Doctor and Jill and the rest of you. I need you now.
At minimum,
and I'm putting that out in the world, because I know somebody out there knows these people. I need you now.
Well,
Tell them it's a truce.
Let's not make it voluntary. You remember fucking John Boehner?
Yeah.
When he was trying to whip everybody in line. What did he say? He said, "Get your ass in line." Period.
Period.
He didn't fucking ask. He said, "Get your ass in line."
John Boehner, man. This is how far this thing is going.
Right? Last night we had Danielle from Chasing Oz on, and we were like,
oh wow,
reminiscing about what do we say? It's like we're at a point where we like wish we had, like, our big thing was like, we wish we had George W. Bush as the thing. Like, that's where we're like, please come back.
Say that. I said this just yesterday. For the first time, this is what's so scary about everything that's happening. I honestly believe for the first time in American history, we have someone that occupies the White House that does not put the country before themselves. Don't get me wrong. There have been people who have had some crazy policies, wrong policies, bad policies, but in their mind, they believe that they were doing it for the better of the country, going all the way back to Washington, even back during slavery times, prohibition, you name it. But for the first time, I think in American history, we got someone in the White House that sees the United States of America as his personal asset. And that is what terrifies the ever-loving hell out of me.
It should terrify us all.
When he says America's doing great, it means I'm doing great.
He's doing great.
Yeah. He says I like her because she loves America. That means she loves me.
Loves me, right?
He is the projection of America is me, and everyone else here is either here to serve or to die.
Dude,
and
everybody.
When Gitmo is ready, I need you guys to understand this. Those who aren't here to serve will be put there to die, and the rest of us will be left asking the question, when it's all over with,
Mm-hmm.
either we end it or NATO ends it at some point in time. They'll say, "Why did you let Gitmo go?" And our excuse will be, "I didn't know what was going on over there."
Same excuse. I mean, dude, same excuse. We heard this before. World War II, how all this happened. You know what's going to be interesting? I think everybody in the chat, do this. When you go to work, when you see your friends, start telling them to do this. Every time Trump says the word America, replace it with me and see how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So when Donald Trump's like, America loves this idea, replace that with like Trump saying, I love this idea. Replace America with Trump and see how everything you hear him say resonates. And I think it's going to be a very interesting experiment.
Like every time he talks about how he wants to seize, Gaza to build golf courses and condos and shit. And he talks about it as though it's him and his business that's doing it. Like it was a piece of the Jersey Shore that he's buying up for.
Like these are vagrants that are on the boardwalk in
and
the
how
80s.
dare they be there? That's get the military. Just clear them all out. Just sweep them away. They depress me.
Nick C in the comments had a very, very good comment where he literally said, it's messed up that the countries that we help free and show democracy are the ones having to put us back in to democracy. That's how far we have fallen. And I think he's absolutely right. Listen, I'm thankful that you guys have me on. I'd love to do it again whenever y'all want me to. Just shoot me a note. But, I think y'all are doing patriotic work. Y'all are sacrificing a lot to do this. It takes effort to put on something like this. The engagement piece is important because people need to feel like those cries are being heard. So I appreciate it. I feel like I'm operating kind of in a vacuum down here in Georgia. Just like, is anybody going to do anything about this? I'm just looking around like, what's happening here, people?
I would like to get with you in Georgia since I'm right here as well. And
I will come back to Georgia.
You'll do it.
Right.
It's crazy.
There's quite a few of these admins are right around here. We're all right in this little circle of the Southeast. So I definitely want to get with that. Let people know how to help out with before you go. It's imperative that we leave here knowing that there's actionable steps. I want some actionable steps to help our democracy tomorrow.
Okay. How can we help with
the veterans for responsible leadership? How can we help with your podcast? How can we help with what do you think can be done tomorrow to help other actionable movements to move our democracy forward or save it if necessary?
These are great. So these are great questions. Number one, before I even talk about me, I want every last one of y'all in the next month to attend a local government meeting, whether it's your county commissioner, your city council, school board. Just go. And what I want you to do is when you do, I'm going to give y'all all my contact information. I want y'all to hit me up and tell me what your impressions are. I need y'all to do that. I need different perspectives from different parts of our society who have all done this military thing to be like, that don't make no damn sense. Or, hey, we're doing something cool here. How do we replicate it? I need that, number one.
Okay.
So, and I'll put that out. So for Veterans for Responsible Leadership, if you go to our website,
I need my man in the notes to take note. My man in the comment section, take some notes on this, please, for me.
Yeah. So it's just www.vfrl.org, Veterans for Responsible Leadership, vfrl.org. And you can join. It's free. You know what I'm saying? We just want you to be part of it. So you'll find when you email us, yours truly, and we got over 8,000 members, we'll email you back. I believe in that type of interaction as long as I can do it. Right. All right. So that's number two. Number three, our podcast, the Gedunk Podcast, is on Valor Media. So if you go search Valor Media on YouTube, or if you type in the Gedunk Show, that's right, a lot of Army guys. Gedunk is a Navy term for junk food. So when you're on a ship and you go to the soda machine and you hit the button and the ship is rocking, it hits the bottom of it and it goes Gedunk. So we're like, go get some Gedunk, and the monster, the bull, the whatever, and we'll take it. So yeah, there's Valor Media. We got a different podcasts on there. You can see me and Dan there. Dan, like I said, is a resident badass. The dude is awesome. And I'm trying to keep up with him. But getting the views up, that matters, obviously, and y'all know this. We're also, and then you can follow me personally on my Instagram, and that is Navshad42. So November Alpha Victor Sierra Hotel Alpha Delta 42, and I put out clips and this, that, and the other. To me, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I'm a guy that's retired. I'm not trying to I could care less about money. I'm trying to save democracy. We just got to get these voices out. I run VFR. I'm running VFR. I don't get paid a dime to do it. I'm doing this because, damn it, this matters. This fucking matters, right? And all of us have answered that call before. And you got friends at home that thought you were crazy for signing up, but you did it anyway, right? Well, I'll be damned if all of our work goes to the wayside, right? So please subscribe to us. Please view. But most importantly, I want y'all to comment on what we're saying, because I'm going to respond to you. I love responding, because I've learned the most stuff I've ever learned in my life. People are like, well, how did you get to this point? I had some damn good senior and junior enlisted that grabbed my little officer ass and like, hey, sir, you fucking up. Like, seriously, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? It's like, I need that in my life. I still need that, man. I need y'all to keep us straight and keep doing that, man. So please hit me up. You can email me at bobby.jones@vrfrl.org. And I'm here, man. I mean, we got a long fight ahead of us. We got to climb ourselves out, but we have enough people in this country that know what it's like to actually lead with some goddamn integrity and put other people before themselves. And I can't thank y'all enough for having me on. I want to come back. Please have me back. I'm going to be watching, and I'll be in the comments anyway on y'all's next live stream. So,
I mean,
so much coming.
So Doug and I are the primary like video creators. I would love to get Matt and Elo and V and Jen to do their own videos as well, but primarily it's me and Doug doing video content. And sometimes for me personally, I just get up there and I'm like, all right, this is what we got going on this week, and that's it. And then other times I'm like, I got some shit to say and I'm gonna say it, and it's like a 25-minute video that I like condensed down. So and I can't do that every single day. Like, my mental health is gonna be like so
yeah, I know. I believe that. You guys are carrying some heavy water, dog. Y'all are carrying some heavy ass water right now.
There was a point leading up to the election where I did like at least one video every single day. Sometimes there was like 2 videos. And maybe like once or twice I was like, I'm going to do a video teaching you how to make a Big Sarge or something. That's what I call every single drink that I make. It could be like a gin gimlet or a vodka cranberry or like a fucking Moscow Mule. And I'm like, this is the Big Sarge. But
no matter what it is.
To the detriment of my brand dilution, which pissed off some people. Like, you don't talk about politics all the time. I'm like, sometimes I just tell shit jokes and dick jokes. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Also stories of questionable judgment from the before time.
Yeah. Like the time that I thought I lost my virginity and it was just me and the girl's butt cheeks between the fucking tent sleeping bag or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I will fucking humiliate myself on camera for your entertainment.
Oh my God. Man. On that revealing note,
there's just a dust outline where Bobby used to be. It's just
no. This is the type of stuff I miss. I'm in civilian civilized society now. You can't get this type of content anywhere, so I appreciate it, man. At my core, I'm a sailor. So trust me, I've heard words.
My wife's a sailor. Hold on 1 second. Hey, babe.
All right. I don't know what's going on anymore.
What?
I don't know. Are we slapping ass over here? All right, listen.
It might be.
Bobby Jones has been nice.
Hey, been a pleasure, lady and gentlemen. And like I said, people, hey, hit me up on my social. I will talk to you. Y'all will keep me informed and keep me honest, because this is gonna be a long ass marathon.
That it is.
Marathon.
We're
here
glad
for
to
it.
have you.
Built for it. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank y'all so very much.
When do you want to come back?
As soon as you want me to. It's like, you can make it a regular thing if you want to. Every other so often, you can just make it a regular thing.
We've talked about having like a regular podcast or live stream night, and it's, like Admin V was like, we should do a historical thing, because I do this shtick during April for Confederate Heritage Month, and just absolutely fucking roasting people with their lost cause bullshit. And she's like, we should do some historical stuff, but we never really got it started. And she's not here tonight to talk about it.
We need to talk about that. Boy, I got some roasting to do on that.
I like
nonsense.
that, man. Now we on the
So I found out that Confederate Heritage Month was a thing back in like 2016, and I was like, why the fuck are we celebrating that? So I decided that I was going to look up every single person from the South who did not join the Confederacy and like bless them up. And so I like put together bios and shit, and every opportunity that I get to like slam dunk some fucking Confederates and shit, I'm like, let me fucking do that.
Dude,
that's my jam.
We got to talk about that, because that is my flavor right there. Oh my goodness.
So when I had a shorter beard, people were like, you should cosplay as General Sherman. So I did like this GoFundMe or something. I'm like, help me buy this Civil War, like authentic Civil War general's costume. And I did. So I would like get up in this General Sherman cosplay and like do these whole videos where I'm like, today we're going to honor General John Buford, who was a Southerner who remained loyal to the United States because he didn't fucking betray his country. And holy shit, the comment sections on our YouTube and Facebook were just like these fucking sons of Confederate veterans that were like, you motherfuckers are wrong. Where? Tell me where. What in here is factually inaccurate? Don't worry. I'll wait.
Yep.
Cat
Got
Williams.
Nothing better to do. Time and opportunity, son. Time and opportunity. I'm fresh out of fucks. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. All right, guys. Well, I like I said, just hit me up, man. Like, I'd love to be back on a regular basis, even. So just let me know. Y'all are awesome.
We'll hit you up.
Thanks, guys.
For sure.
I guess we should do this on a weekly basis now.
Probably.
Bye. All right.
All right. Thanks, Bobby.
The hell did my arm go?
Hey, I gotta run too,
I
guys.
fucked that one up.
I gotta run, or I guess I could come back at least, but I gotta do the I gotta do
I gotta make a bio break, so we're just gonna go ahead and kill it.
Okay.
We've been on
I love that. I absolutely
2 hours
love
now.
that. Yeah, that's 2:06. Yep. Oh man. And if you're still in the comment section, check out all of those sites. And tomorrow, make your plan on what government function you're going to attend and report back on. Tomorrow.
Oh.
Actionable plans.
Tomorrow, 12 p.m., if you're in or around or can reach the Washington, D.C. area by 12 p.m., there's supposed to be a protest in front of the Russian embassy to protest Kash Patel's and whatever.
All those cash money payments that he's been getting paid by the Russians.
Yeah. Fucking, I
I'm
wish
sure,
I was
I'm
getting
sure
some
having
money.
that guy, a paid Russian agent in charge of the FBI, will have no problems for us at all. None.
If that dude gets confirmed, we should just, you know what, fucking let it burn. I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck this place. Let's just let it burn down. Let them all kill themselves with their fucking stupidity, and then we'll just come in and be like,
you're going to see.
So here's the Constitution.
You're going
Remember this?
You're going to see every asset that U.S. intel has in Russia all of a sudden falling out of windows. And it's not going to be subtle.
Yep. Hey, before that, if you're feeling helpless out there, you just had a plan of action. Do it. Get your plan tomorrow of what you're going to visit, who you're going to tell about. The guy just told you what he needs in order to get something done. You have 2 work groups with which to start that plan of action. If you're feeling helpless, you can start tomorrow on that first plan of action. And I can give you something else to do the next day. Hit me up. There's a plethora of things to be done. There's a plethora of things to be done. So if you're feeling helpless, starting tomorrow, get your plan of action of what government meeting you're going to meet with, because you might think that it's not important, but you're feeling helpless. And the guy who was just here told you that it's important. Do that first and then come back. I got something for you to do. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done before we throw people out of windows. All right. So that's the last step.
And if you have time, maybe a moment of silence for Edmund Doug's Chiefs.
You know what? That's for that. That's
Peace out. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yes, thank you, everybody.